Digital 410 Productions proudly presents the What's in Your Head podcast. Oh, he's tired of me already.
Digitized live from the
Your company name here.
studios in Cape Coral, Florida. It's the What's in Your Head podcast with your hosts Gordon and Don Abernathy.
What's up, OG5? It's the only podcast brought to you by one guy, two keyboards, two mice, two computers, and one bottle of wine.
And a partridge in a pear motherfucking tree.
This is the What's in Your Head podcast, a consistently inconsistent podcast. And today's question of the week, Gordon and Mike, are you ready for the question of the week?
Well, you teased us with it earlier and then you walked away like you were angry, so yes.
Question of the week is, so you know the gentleman who proofread all Hitler's speeches?
Was his name Goebbels by chance?
Was he a grammar Nazi? Yeah.
Wow.
Coming out just like that.
Is that a carryover from yesterday's show? Please don't tell me that was a carryover from yesterday's show.
And joining us live from Las Vegas,
Got the
Nevada.
same response, apparently.
Looking like an Amish motorcycle mechanic, the one, the only Gordon Abernathy. And joining us from Fort Myers, Florida, looking like the white Cleveland Brown, Mike, no use for last name. How's it going, fella?
Oh, my God.
How
What's
y'all
up,
doing?
fella?
It's nasty.
Oh, boy.
That's nasty.
It's the end of the year show, and we opened it up with a clunker. Oh, boy. So what's going on, fellas?
I'd rather go out with a dud than start with one.
Oh,
Wait, they've all been duds. What am I saying?
I am just beaten down physically and morally, mentally.
Oh, boy. You got your violin, Mike? As mine's at the shop. I've played it so many times.
Mike, is it the time is your kid being an asshole right now? Just throwing that out there.
Little bit.
So close to Christmas. What's the matter with you?
You know what's
You're-
nice about not having kids?
No assholes.
No idea.
Oh, no, the dogs become the assholes, but yes.
It's like, come on. We're so close.
The I got a kid blues.
It's just every day.
Oh, especially when they hit a certain age.
Oh, forget
Especially
about
when
it.
there's
Yeah,
trauma attached to it.
You're experiencing that female teenage
Insanity?
situation.
Mhm.
Let's call it what it is.
I'm different. Like he hasn't hit teenage years yet, and it's a boy, so it's a little
Yeah,
different.
but they bounce off the goddamn
Well, at
wall.
least they
I
keep
know.
their
I
own.
was a 12-year-old boy.
Huh?
And there's only one thing that propels a 12-year-old boy.
I said, yeah, but he probably bounces off the goddamn wall. I know I fucking did. I drove everybody crazy.
Well, we were out skating all the time. Do kids do that anymore?
Yeah, I know, but see, I never
Or
thought
do
about
they
it.
just carry their skates?
I never thought about that until just now. You take a young lad who started to pedal a plank of wood down the street on some urethane wheels in second grade. And we would do that, and Gordon would do that day in, day out, long as it wasn't raining or
I was
heavy
closer
snow.
to 7th, 8th grade, but yeah.
But, you know, I was in second grade. You were in 7th, 8th grade. We started roughly around the same time. And skated for the same amount of distance. But you take a young...
I got the song Me and My Skate stuck in my head by KMK.
You take a 14 or 15-year-old who skateboards all the time, and then for the summer you ship him down to his mom's house where there's no goddamn paved roads, and you put him in a house and just watch him bounce off the fucking walls.
To be fair, we did go to Big Bone Lick.
Yeah,
Tell
where
people
we
it is
downhill on
actually the name of a
street
fucking
boards
park.
doing like 35 miles an hour.
Remember what happened to me on that hill?
Yeah, you ate a fucking pebble.
No, I got the fucking speed wobbles.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
then what did I do?
you ate shit.
And what did I do after that?
Got back up and you fucking skated to the bottom of the hill. You had no other
You know what I
choice.
do? Walked home.
Yeah,
That fucking hurt.
I went. Johnny
Did
and I
I
would go down there.
cry? No. Did I go, I need to go to the hospital? Nope.
No, you did what we're learning now is a horrible thing to do, but we all did it because, well, we grew up with parents who were fucking 20 in the 60s and 70s. We went home and dumped what we're discovering to be the fucking worst thing you could possibly do to your fucking white blood cells. We dumped fucking hydrogen peroxide all over our fucking
It's
open
fine with
wounds.
the white. It just causes skin damage and leaves scars.
But back then we were told it cleanses it and keeps it from getting infection.
Guess what happens every time I get a little boo-boo?
Oh, I fucking...
Just take a guess.
You cry like a baby.
No.
We went through so much hydrogen peroxide because we
No,
both
my
skateboarded all the
wife-
time.
is still into the hydrogen peroxide.
Only thing I use it for now is
So
my
if
teeth.
I get a boo-boo, guess who's getting treated and not wanting to get treated?
That's just like I thought. I didn't know it was bad until they tore me a new ass when I took Bailey to the vet when she got that cat claw stuck in her head. Like can't tell you what to do with humans, but basically she said that shit kills
Fuck
white
off on the
blood
hydrogen
cells.
peroxide with the dogs, huh?
Yeah, kills white blood cells. So
Go back to skateboarding. I started skateboarding down here. Believe it or not, I used to skateboard.
Believe
And-
it or not.
he was the baddest
Everything down
motherfucker
here
at
is all
Eagle
flat.
Park.
There's no fucking hills or anything like that. I moved up to North Carolina, up in the mountains.
You learned something, didn't you?
First hill.
Yep.
I'm gonna bomb this motherfucker.
I had an Element Featherlight skateboard, and I was going down that hill, and I was like, "This was a horrible idea.
This was a bad idea." And the only thing you can
Zooming-
do,
zooming
only thing
down
you can
about
do is
90
while
All thing to do
looking,
is hit a four-wheel fucking power slide, man.
or you look while looking for rocks, you look off on the side. Is there a soft overgrown patch I can just fucking jump it down the hill into?
Oh, fucking briars and sticker bushes.
Yep.
Yep.
Or fucking trash and thrown away, God knows what.
Hey, I think there's a homeless Vietnam vet over there too.
Dude,
Hey,
I-
just crash into him. Hey,
because
crash
I-
different. Sorry.
I also learned not to pull the front brakes on a downhill on a bicycle.
Bicycle, yeah.
That's actually incorrect, Mike. You are supposed to use your front brakes.
Just don't
and
do
I
it
am
all at
not
once.
Fucking lying.
Yeah, you just don't do it all at once.
No,
No,
you roll it from front to back.
going
is a
down
guy
the
who-
driveway.
Who rode
Yep.
downhill in Montana for several years.
Carrie did
You
that
actually
backwards
front
down the
brake
hill.
that.
You know how the little berm connect? You can transfer from Del Prado to the street that runs parallel. You go to Lowe's. Carrie was trying to pedal up that, and she ran out of momentum, started rolling backwards, and she kept pedaling, and finally hit her
So
brakes.
for
and-
those of you who don't live in Florida, that hill is probably 4 feet high.
yeah, just about.
Yeah, we were renting a house up there, and they actually had a paved driveway.
Ooh,
And I
rich
was on a
neighborhood.
mountain bike, and I was just like,
You
know,
wanna
I was
cut-
dicking
cut-
around outside. I was bored. I was like, I didn't know what else to do, so I was on the bike, and I started going, and I realized I don't know if I just needed to stop or if I was going to hit something or something like that. But first thing I grabbed was the front brake. It just went ass over tin cups.
So
You want to talk about a kick in the ass, Don?
What's
You know how I
that?
like mountain biking, I like
Uh-huh.
downhilling.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm closing in on 50, but you know
Mhm.
that's okay. Yeah, they're building a mountain bike park right next to my house,
Sweet.
and I don't have a fucking bike,
You can get one.
and I don't have $5,000 to throw into a bike.
Speaking of mountain bikes, before Gordon left and before I left, we were both single track riding in Allen Creek and Deer Creek. No, never Deer Creek. Allen Creek in Columbus, Ohio, and riding down the sidewalks and stuff.
That's on hardtails, by the way.
And Gordon gave me his GT hardtail triple triangle, and I did the best I could with it. Made absolutely no upgrades to it.
a little small for him.
A little small for me. Made no upgrades to it. Moved to California. My dad said, "Hey, let's get a Big Bear. Why don't you bring that old mountain bike?" So I took this fucking mountain bike to the top of Big Bear. Absolutely no prep. Used to riding it in Ohio.
20
I went
feet later.
straight down. Brakes just kept on going. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, because he had rim wranglers. He didn't have disc brakes on it.
No fucking pedal clips. Nothing. I was just a giant skateboard bumper car to me, man.
Burning
when
those
I
little
was in
rubber brake
Montana,
pads.
And I picked up that Rocky
Yeah, no
Mountain,
disc
believe
brakes.
it or not,
Horseshoe.
believe it or not, downhilling, you don't use clipless or
Yeah.
time attack pedals. I had big platform pedals and Vans,
Yep.
and that was the best way to fucking do it. Of course, I had full body armor too, so that wasn't that stupid. Because the most I've ever been hurt from skateboarding to snowboarding has always been on a bicycle.
I remember the first time I actually got onto a BMX bike with metal
Bear traps.
bear
Mhm.
traps and took
You
one to the
kids, you
shin.
don't know
Mhm. I
the
still have
agony
scars.
and hell of
Yep,
bear
I
traps.
got a-
Bear
I
traps
got
would
a-
probably be illegal nowadays. But tell them
Yeah,
about the bear.
I got a big old divot right in the middle.
Tell them
of my-
about the bear
my-
traps, George.
right in the middle of my damn.
They fucking
shin.
hurt.
Why they call them bear traps for the youngins listening at home? All
Mhm.
two of them. Because they were a
But,
steel, completely steel, reinforced steel pedal that was shaped like a U and then had teeth on both sides of it, much like a bear trap. And
yeah,
you're-
for grip.
and you always knew who had them because their shins looked like they got attacked with a fucking werewolf.
Mhm.
Oh,
And one of the reasons you wear shin pads downhilling is it's a big
Oh.
aluminum platform. Instead of teeth, it's little bitty spikes
Mm.
that you can that stick out, and
Oh.
these things hurt.
And then we all had to take off our chain guard. Fuck that chain guard.
Wait, reflectors had to come off too, man.
Chain guards are stupid, man. You take off your chain
reflect- and
guard, take off
kickstands. You can't have
reflector,
a kickstand on that
kickstands for your
fucking
little
bike either.
sister,
Nope, you
man.
just laid that fucking bike over on the side. You
Why
don't
do you-
put that kickstand down. You're a
Lay it over on
loser.
the side like a man.
Why do you got that bitch pad on the handlebars? Get rid of that. But this is Mongoose. Get rid of it, you baby.
Get rid of the pad off the middle. If you're
This
going to
is
rack your fucking
Mongoose.
nuts, if you're going to rack your nuts, you want to
Mhm.
not have a pad there.
Yep.
Hey man,
Actually, a friend of ours ended up with testicular torsion because of a fucking bike when we were in steeplechase.
there was
And
parts
just
of my
tear
life
the
where I
shit
was-
out of your
I was
shins.
poor and I had a Mongoose bike, man. So I can't talk.
Mongoose
shit
were the
about
shit
Mongoose.
back in
you
the
know you
day.
can buy them at Walmart, right?
Now you can.
Yeah, now you can.
Well, the last 15 years, you could. God, I feel old.
Put the big old pegs in the back so your homeboy can ride because you know his parents couldn't afford a bike.
And then the rich one got the pegs on the front too, so
Mm-hmm. That's
'cause they
when,
didn't ever grind with them.
well, that's when after you got old
Yeah.
enough to get a lady friend, you'd make your girlfriend sit on the handlebars so you can look at her butt while you almost fall over
Mm.
because you know she can't keep fucking balance to save her goddamn life.
No.
Goddamn chicks.
All these things would be illegal nowadays.
Have you guys ever ridden on a tandem bike?
No.
No,
Are you talking
Oh
about a
my
bicycle built for two?
Yes.
I've been the
I
lonely
was-
guy
I
in a
was-
tandem kayak.
I was in school. It was like middle school. A friend of mine found a tandem bike somewhere.
It's because people throw them away.
Right. And he was like,
His
"Oh yeah,
girlfriend
man, I
leaves
got-"
him.
right. He was riding it by himself, and I was like, "Oh, that." You know, he was showing it to me. It was like, "That's
Aw,
cool."
he's lonely.
Now, when
And he
one rides a bicycle built for two for one, do you ride on the front or the back? I guess you have to ride the front 'cause you
Front.
can't steer from the
You
back.
have to fucking steer.
So he's like,
he rode
he's
that
like-
bicycle for two from the back, and he crashed it. The first thing
Ain't
he
no
came
different than
upon.
riding with no hands. Got to
True.
get up speed.
True.
But
But
yeah,
he-
but the
he was
turning
like-
radius is a little different.
He was like, "Oh yeah, man, I got this bike. You know, let's hop on. We'll get home faster." You know, he was like, "I'll drop you off on my way back to my house." I was like,
you
"All
were the
right."
one fucking pedaling, weren't you?
I was on the back. No, we were both pedaling, but he didn't stop pedaling. And there is no, you know,
You,
you
you
don't-
get hung up.
yeah, every time. He rode BMX and stuff. I didn't ride BMX, but he rode BMX, and we're hauling ass down the road in Cape Coral, heading towards the
Must
house.
have
And
been
all of a
cheap ass
sudden,
bikes
I
built
had
for
to
two.
let my feet go. I had to stop for a minute just because he just kept going from the school all the way home, and the fucking chain popped off, and he's like, "Oh, goddamn piece of shit," and this, that, and the other. He's like, "Fuck this bike," and he threw it in the fucking woods.
That's exactly where he found it.
That's
Just a little
right.
different location. You know how you can tell the difference between somebody who rides a bike for pleasure and one who rides one for transportation?
Yes.
How is that, Don?
Whether or not they know how to use a granny gear on a fucking bridge.
I was going to say whether or not the right pant leg was all tore up.
That's what I was getting to, but I lost my track when I started talking about ripping the chain guard off and the pads and all that. Was everybody the first time you got your pant leg stuck in the fucking bike chain after you took your? That's what the guard was for. Ow! So you can't have
I'm
shit.
wearing shorts from here on out.
That's why I never knew LL Cool J was a bicycle rider.
Yeah, and you weren't very smart if you had your laces on your shoes were still out.
Mm-hmm.
You had to tuck that shit. Either that or you had to fucking flat lace them and put the laces inside the shoe.
There's a whole
That
lot of
shit would
rules
get
though
caught up.
to vagabond bicycle riding as a ute. Because
Yeah, what he said.
you started out with your baby bike. The baby bike had the push backwards brake. Remember that? Just
Oh,
ride as
yeah, the
fast as you
coaster
can
brakes.
and just slam
It's
backwards.
basically the drum brake equivalent for a bicycle.
Yeah, but nothing laid a better fucking fishtail when you're re-imitating the Fall Guy or freaking
One thing you haven't
Dukes of
experienced
Hazzard.
is the hydraulic disc brakes on a bike. That lays a fucking nice one.
And then when you got your big boy bike, you just pedal backwards to show that you were no longer on a baby bike with the backwards brake, man. Now I got
Remember Dad's Schwinn? It actually the gears kept the whole sprocket kept moving forward, so you didn't have to pedal to shift gears.
yeah.
That was a pretty bougie Schwinn back in the day.
The coolest thing that I learned when I was a kid was when my grandfather taught me how to put a playing card in the spokes.
Oh,
I was like, "Oh man, that's so cool!" I was a little kid. I was like, "Man, this is fucking
make it
awesome."
sound like a motorcycle.
That's right.
Not a
I used to
motorcycle,
put one in the
okay.
front.
Where's that
and
Chris
one in the
Sabo
rear.
card at?
Oh shit, he was dual spoken. Well, we know where Mikey's at.
See, we're lucky though. We unless you're really poor, like really poor, you might
Like
get
how
like
poor
your
are we
dad's old bike with the banana seat and the fucking ape hanger bars that he had from the 70s. But luckily, most of us lived when they transitioned into the small light seats, and bikes, even cheaper bikes, got more aesthetically pleasing for the BMX realm. So at least you always knew the one poor kid because he's riding on his dad's hand-me-down fucking Schwinn from the 50s with the banana seat and the ape hangers, trying to keep up with everybody on their BMX bike.
Fucking things off the handlebars.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's a chick bike.
Meanwhile, you got the one rich kid in the neighborhood's got the red line. Oh, you bastard with the red line.
And the Predators.
He's got a red
yes.
line. He has a hutch. I want a hutch. Stupid Huffy.
My grandmother
my
had
first
a
Huffy
three-wheeler.
was a classic. Think back to the 80s. On what bike did you see all the time? The yellow one with yellow mags and blue tires.
Yeah, I saw that on TikTok the other day. Are you talking about the big black three-wheeler with the BMX tires with the yellow rims?
No,
because I had that.
That was before his time.
This was just a basic three-wheeler that your grandmother had or something like that. She had this.
Okay, maybe it wasn't before his time.
She couldn't keep her balance, so she had this. It was spoked wheels and whatnot.
You talking about like a training wheels on the son of a
I'm
bitch?
talking about an old bone shaker with a real big front tire.
Tricycle.
A tricycle.
And I remember I'd go through there. They lived in a community, and I'd go through there all the time. And I thought I was so cool because I could pop that third wheel up off the ground like that.
Running in it, and you
can I talk to the kids real quick?
Just let the front pedals just spin real fast.
Can I talk to the
what Don and I
did?
This became way before we ever seen a Calvin and Hobbes comic. Is Don had a radio flyer.
Mm-hmm.
We would get on this thing, and you kind of maybe have to close your eyes to picture it. We had what was called a cistern.
Mm-hmm.
Cistern, as Mike, as you know, is an underground storage. Well, the cistern had a nice little hill built on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we would get on this thing on where the pavement was, and we had a gap we had to shoot between two outbuildings right through the gate. And when you hit that gap, the sidewalk would step down.
Now
we nailed that son of a bitch. Now I was always up front steering. Don was in the back.
Problem is,
he wasn't old enough.
You shoot the gap on a Red Ryder wagon one too many times, it becomes passé, boring if you must.
Oh yeah, because Calvin's doing it with his damn stuffed animal.
And so you gotta increase the odds, Mike. And so what do? You do what any young red-blooded Kentucky child of the 70s would do. You'd go get the nearest mattress off your bed.
Yes. You roll your sister down.
And then you take the mattress and you put it on the wagon. And you look at your younger brother and say, "Nay, he's too young. However, yo sister." You probably pick up your sister, you plant her atop of the mattress, on top of the red wagon, up top of the hill.
I don't remember
based on the cistern. And Ira, you ready to go for a ride? I don't have a helmet. It's the 70s. What the fuck's a helmet? As he puts her on
to
the
be
fucking
fair, it's the
wagon.
early 80s, but whatever.
Close enough.
Puts her on the wagon, bids her a farewell as she
Bids her adieu.
rides off into the sunset down the hill. And for some reason, at the bottom of every hill that any child would play on must be an implement of death. Whether it's a cinder block, a tree stump, a concrete cistern head that's covering a fucking hole in the wall, what have you. To which the wagon with the mattress,
suddenly.
with the sister perched on top of the mattress, on top of the Red Ryder wagon as it's speeding down the hill, she comes to a sudden stop at the bottom. Well,
The wagon comes to
I
a sudden
digress.
stop at the
The
bottom.
wagon comes to a sudden stop at the bottom. The mattress and the sister both go tumbling into the sunset.
She had a mattress. She was safe.
The mattress made contact to the ground. She overshot the mattress and landed on her shoulder blade, thus popping it and breaking it.
You know, if I was an older
Outstanding.
brother, if I was the eldest brother and all
Memories.
this stuff happened, I had not done my job.
Memories.
I also gave her stitches by throwing a matchbox train at her. And back in the day, those things were fucking heavy.
Mm-hmm. Sheboygan.
I was a kid going kind of back to bikes and skateboards. I think my dad made this skateboard. He took an old piece of wood,
Mm-hmm.
just like any kid would do.
Let me guess.
Back
Let me
then.
guess.
A
Let
plank.
me guess. Plank
Put
with
some-
roller skate wheels on it.
Put some trucks on it. Those fat 80s fucking neoprene tires.
Yep.
And just bolted it to this piece of wood. Now, when my brother was a kid, he's 8 years older than I am. But when he was a kid, that would, it probably would have looked nice. When I was growing up, that skateboard turned into a splinter factory from hell.
Dad, do we have any sand and paper? Shut up.
This is what we call the skateboard of death.
So my brother one day, he's like, let's go do something or other. I don't know what we were doing, but we got the skateboard, threw a helmet on me, tied a boat rope to the seat post on the mountain bike.
Sound plan.
Had me hold on to the freaking rope.
As you
and said,
should.
Logic. I'm in.
I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm on this, just hunched over, just on this little skateboard, and he's hauling ass, moving. We're booking it down the street. And all of a sudden, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but something caught his eye where he decided to do something and just
Look, chick!
Left-hand turn.
This is like the montage from the 80s movie where they're showing your first person and you look like you're hauling ass, and then they cut to a wide shot of a guy sitting on the front porch smoking a cigarette, and you guys are just creeping by really fucking slow.
Exactly.
And they cut back to your perspective.
A lot faster than that.
No,
and then the opposite is you watch snowboarding videos, and it looks fun, and then you get out in the mountains like, holy shit, that's a lot bigger and faster than I thought it was.
Yeah.
So he hung a left turn.
But he hung a left turn.
See, I pay attention.
And me being young and not knowing physics.
He took a left at Albuquerque. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still holding onto the rope. And I'm watching him going down the street.
Yeah, you're responsible for turning.
Yep. Just took a hard freaking left turn.
And
right
the
off
skateboard
the
just kept going right.
Scraped up my knee. I
Yep.
still have a scar from that, from when I was, I could have only been maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't want to tell the story because it's too long, but the same thing happened to me with a skateboard and a bunch of kids in a Chevy truck. And my first time tailgating, Gordon was there.
Don was full. We just called him Raspberry for a little while.
So I wanted to talk to the kids real quick before we move on, because I had a flashback, and all the kids who grew up in our same era is going to know. We hear this phrase thrown around about free-range children. Now, you can understand there's multiple levels of a free-range child.
X, right?
There's multiple levels of a free-range child.
You have the freest of free range.
And then you had the obnoxious 5-year-old. Now, when you're an obnoxious 5-year-old, your first tricycle is a little red plastic thing with blue forks and a big black wheel in the front. Remember that? Yep. We all had that, and the little black wheels in the back. All plastic wheels, plastic tires.
Looked like it had mags on it, but it didn't. It was all plastic.
Yes, but it would get to the point where the extremely free-range child, basically the child that either had a mom who wanted it outside as long as it wasn't snowing, or the babysitter.
We're talking about the feral child.
This child is outdoors so much that at a certain point, the front tire on that red tricycle disintegrates so you can see inside of it and just see the fucking spokes. He literally ran it into the ground, and at this point he's only riding on the side walls, what's left of this fucking front tire, because he's outside riding that thing for 12 hours a fucking day.
And they don't make replacement wheels.
No. Yeah, if you got lucky, mama
injected molded plastic, so you got to toss it and go pay another $10.
Or if you're lucky, mama would find one that was slightly loved at someone else's yard sale.
Hey, let's go down to the flea market and see if they carry any of these.
Flea market. So yeah.
Nope, got to go to the yard sale.
You know, the end of the year is coming up. We want to thank you guys for your continued support of the old podcast-a-roo. And if you wouldn't mind, head over to whatsyourhead.com or d-410.com. Click on the Patreon link, sign up and subscribe. It goes a long way to help what we're doing here at the channel. Not to mention, while you're there, go ahead and click on the merch link and buy a shirt or 3. That'd be fantastic. And not to mention, sign up for our YouTube channel so you can watch all of our live streams, plus much, much more.
Much more?
Much, much more. But you know what? Speaking of much more, we haven't done one of these in a while.
Oh, boy.
And now for the What's in Your Head podcast TikTok lesson of the week.
So I asked my dad, what would you get for Christmas growing up in Austria? He said he got an orange one year. And I laughed, right? He said, why are you laughing? I'm like, that sucks. That sucks. You got an orange. But he loved getting the orange because they got a different tradition over there, right? If you're good, Sinterklaas shows up and gives you an orange. But if you're bad, Sinterklaas's sidekick shows up, okay? And his name is Krampus. Krampus is a 9-foot demon, right? Long horns, big red tongue, carries a stick and a bag. Right? So if you're bad, he shows up on Christmas Eve, beats you with the stick, right? Puts you in a sack and drags you off to hell. So my dad's telling me this. I'm like, that's awful. So what would Christmas Eve be like? Horrifying, he said. It was the worst day of the year, right? Canadian kids are all excited. Tomorrow's Christmas. Austrian kids are like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm getting an orange or if I'm going to be beaten by a demon in hell. I don't know.
And this has been
Like
the
a
What's in
homeless
Your Head
demon.
podcast TikTok lesson of the week.
Have you seen like the
Shit.
Krampus parade videos coming out of
They're going
Joyman?
to do either this year or next year a whole big Krampus thing here.
Mm-hmm. They've been trying to
pretty
get the
fucking
Krampus
freaky.
thing going for the longest time.
Satan Christmas,
Yeah.
basically.
Krampus.
You have to get some salt. You have to keep some salt around you.
We're all fan of the show.
Any Supernatural fans here?
No, still ain't watched that yet. But good segue. We all like that Peaky Blinders show, right?
Yeah.
Starting to get into it. Yeah.
What's homeboy's name? Who plays Tommy Shelby?
He
Peaky
played.
Blinders.
Isn't that the same guy that played in Batman as the
Yes.
Leatherface?
Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
He also
Sorry.
played the guy on Dunkirk who hit the kid with the paddle in the boat and killed him.
He always plays a dick, doesn't he?
He is playing Oppenheimer in the new
Yes, he
Oppenheimer
is.
movie, which looks crazy. That'll be
It's about
interesting.
the
The
Atomic
Manhattan
bomb, right?
Project, nuclear shit, blowing things up. Oh boy! So that looks interesting.
hey, we're sending missiles over to Ukraine. So how's that going to play out?
Oh Lord knows. Lord.
Oh wait,
knows.
it was met with a video of Russia loading a intercontinental ballistic missile into a launcher. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
You're all going to be wishing we were living in the mountains now.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
But don't worry, we won't have to worry about a food crisis.
Oh no. Well, yeah, it's the Great Reset, right?
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Mm-hmm.
This is the great filter moment that sees its humanity can make it to the next level without destroying themselves.
The people. Next thing they'll be breeding us like cattle for food. You gotta tell them. You gotta tell them.
Promise, Tiger. I promise. I'll tell the exchange.
You tell everybody. Listen to me, Hatcher. You gotta tell them. Silent breed is people. We gotta stop them somehow.
2022.
Dateline, December 2022. Cultivated meat, not plant-based meat, plant-based meat, is the future of environmentally conscienced food.
That would be conscience.
Conscience, depends on how much wine you've drank, sir. Anyone who's had
Not
to change
enough.
their diets know that it's hard to change something so fundamental to our existence as what we eat. This is no less true on a social level. In recent years, the environment movement has been encouraging a social shift away from meat consumption. This change seems impossible until last week when the FDA approved cultivated chicken for production and sale.
That just sounds gross.
This marked a huge step forward in the eco-friendly food production, cultivated meat. Try it today. No dietitian will tell you to only eat foods that make you miserable. For the same reason, we shouldn't have to rely on Excuse me, sir?
You think that mental health is a problem now?
Mental health is the road to freedom. Unpalatable
That's
meats and
insanity,
alternatives.
man. You got it wrong.
But
Insanity
yeah,
is the road to
so
freedom.
they're not quite ready to production, but they've essentially created what they're saying is basically damn near genetic chicken meat without actually having to raise a chicken.
Soylent Green minus the people.
Yeah, getting close. I mean, here we are trying to make artificial meat. At what point does that meat become a real animal? And,
And that's just it. If
break in and steal it. Have all these chicken cutlets with
imagine.
heartbeats. This one's
looking at
Sheila.
all these, looking at these factories, and they got this meat, but it's moving. It's pulsating like it's got nerves. It's still firing. Whoa!
Make that whole scene in Rocky a little more interesting. Boom, boom. Big ol' sight
Fuck
of
the
beef.
raw eggs. Give me the raw.
Big ol' sight of
raw
beef. Fucking just
cultivated
wiggling at you.
What does it come from? Does it come from an animal? No,
it comes from
Petri
people.
Dish. A petri dish. Yes, a petri dish. Nothing more sane than a petri dish. You don't have to clean up the shit. There's no
Delicious.
methane.
Because after all, Gordon, they're starting to turn on themselves. Agriculture is coming under scrutiny for its contribution to climate change. According to the IPCC,
So the goal is we all just fucking die and go away.
23% of the greenhouse gas emissions related to human activity in 2007 to 2016 came from agricultural, forestry, and other use. You mean like natural shit? Like, you know.
Let me give you some for instances out here in Nevada, California. way. South of here, just south of Prim, right across the border in California, there's one of the largest solar collecting sites in the world. What's a solar collecting site? Well, if you ever seen the movie Sahara, it's all these mirrors that bounce the sunlight up into these collecting towers, creating steam.
I like
So, hey, we want to get off of fossil fuels. We want to have green energy. Let's build these here. You can't. There's tortoises.
Huh?
So the environmentalists are in the way of the environmentalists? Yes.
They eat their own after a while.
They do eat their own.
Well, it's like
You
when
see that on the
FGC.
right too, right?
Yeah, it's like when FGCU boasted about their big ass Field O solar panels. They basically clear cut undeveloped land, removed all the trees and vegetation, and put all these goddamn solar panels in. And we're
Yeah.
green.
Except for this pasture that was really nice and had a lot of animals that supported it. Now it's
Fuck them animals. They're nothing more than leopard carrying armadillos.
leopard carrying armadillos. You got leprosy. Is that running rampant in Southwest Florida?
Armadillos are known for carrying leprosy, but people are trying to make you aware that that's just harsh.
That
And
the
you need to
next
be
big
nice to the
fear?
armadillos.
I know they got the flu fear right now, right? This is the biggest flu season in 30, 40 years.
Only time I see armadillo when they're dead on the curb. Hence my rock
When they got
band.
stupid.
When I had rock band, I actually had my band. It was called Curbside Armadillo. And the only other time I see evidence in my
Wait,
side
this is
yard
a
where the
A video game that you're playing, you called Curbside Armadillo?
yeah, and they actually had an armadillo icon, which was great. And so yeah, when I was touring on Rock Band and Carrie was playing drums, I was on the bass. We were touring as Curbside Armadillo. That was our band name. Yeah, we rocked.
They toured their living room.
Yeah, we did. People came from miles around.
Woo! So,
Digital miles.
Mm-hmm.
digital miles.
Giggity giggity.
Have you ever seen that whole lions not sheep deal?
Mm-hmm.
It's basically, if you watch TikTok and that, they're talking about the Trumpsters were all lions and the sheep were everybody who followed Biden. There's a couple
No,
of people in my
I'm not on
business
that TikTok. I haven't seen that.
There's a couple of people in my business that I will see, other contractors, and with their lions not sheep hat out there. Yeah, I'm a Trump guy. I'm like, I haven't said it yet, but I will say it here. You two are also a sheep. The real lions are the third party and the libertarians who don't like either side.
Mm.
You're either red sheep or blue sheep. Which sheep are you? Or you could say it's the Crips and the Bloods.
I'm a
Kind of
folk.
same deal, just on a different level. But yeah, it's crazy.
We're all voting for laundry.
What's that?
We're all rooting for laundry. That's what they say about sports teams.
All rooting for laundry. Yes, you are.
We're all rooting for laundry. Do, 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 do.
So, are you guys ready for the big Christmas?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask if we were ready for some football. No. I'm so not. Mike, I wanted to ask you this question last week. We covered it briefly, but Gordon's not a parent. So the question was, at what point in your child's age do you go from quantity over quality when it comes to Christmas presents and how many you purchase? Because I know your wife, fiance, your baby mama, you've seen it where you're already like, dude, we've already spent a shit ton of money. Yeah, I know, but once I wrap them, it's just not visually enough. We need to buy more.
We need this whole room filled.
So at what
under the
point
tree.
do you go from we need to fill the living room up to, hey, these fuckers are asking for some expensive shit. They're getting quality stuff, but there's not going to be a whole bunch of it. What
So do
point
you
do
give
you...
them one or two big quality items and
'cause
everything else from the dollar store?
Everything's
I'm-
expensive now. I mean, back in our day, I was like, okay, we want one $300 Nintendo. Now it's I want a $500 phone, a $900
Oh, by the way,
iPad,
that $300
$600
Nintendo was shared
watch.
between three people.
$300 shoes. It's like, fuck you.
No. I mean, I've kind of hit that point now. I mean, you know, I actually bought him a computer this year.
Thank
Not
God he
just-
don't listen
not
on his
just-
phone.
Not
You
just
just
any
spoiled
computer.
Christmas.
I bought him a gaming PC.
Oh, watch him say Zydex.
Zydex.
Alienware, but then Dell bought them out and now they suck. Unless you bought him one, then I apologize.
My broadcast my podcast is a HP gaming
Pavilion?
machine. No,
The HP room heater.
it is a room heater. It's got a
I-
fancy clear screen on the side of it.
I did buy him an
Water-cooled.
HP.
It's got some weird like Omnis, or what the fuck is it called? I can tell you what it's called real quick. It may be the same one. It's a good machine.
I think it's a.
Welcome to Ambiguous Computer Talk with three old white guys.
I don't know what it's called. We're talking about.
No, and I mean,
What's the MAC address again?
you know,
That was in the
everything
letter.
that I picked out for him was, you know, because what he wants to do, he wants to, you know, he sees what I do. He sees, you know, the podcasting.
Great, we got another YouTuber coming our way.
Exactly. So he.
At
wants
least
to
you didn't say
stream.
At
TikTok.
least they already got half the studio made.
But my
Yeah,
brother-
might get more use out of it.
my
Yeah.
brother does it. He streams on Twitch and whatnot, and you know
We're
my
on
son's
Twitch
really
right now.
into
Hi,
gaming.
Twitch audience. How you doing?
Yeah.
We don't ever talk about it, but we're actually, we
Bunch
stream
of
on Twitch right
Twitch
now.
So I bought him the computer.
Oh, mine's the HP Omen.
Yeah, mine's just a HP Pavilion gaming machine. But
I got
when
the
checked out
HP
all the
Pagoda.
specs and everything, all the cards and everything in it. I mean, I don't think the machine is really upgradable, but I think it's a good starter.
Yeah.
That's
So-
what you need. Got a GeForce RTX graphics.
I'm still
card.
rocking the first gen Xbox One, so I'm the last guy to
Yeah,
see this
Donna.
feature.
I was like, hey, how's that looking? The new version looking over there on your end? He goes,
Nope.
looks the same. Looks like Call of Duty. He's like, oh, you should see it from the One X and a 4K screen.
Well, my TV's only 2K, so it was Stan's hand-me-down.
But yeah,
James'
I mean,
hand-me-down got a
you get to
Lexa
that
thrown
point
through it.
in your kid's life where you're like, do I get a bunch of cheaper, you know,
Or do you get the one or
smaller
two
gifts,
expensive things,
or-
but then
or-
still spend a fortune on a bunch of little things because you're trying to fill the fucking room?
right?
When you're
So-
Little things that they won't care about the second.
when you're
they open it up.
tchotchke, when your room filler costs as much as the big item, now you just doubled your Christmas. You could have just
Right.
bought him
Oh
two
my
really
God,
cool
a bag
items.
of balloons.
I came to the realization that he doesn't really play with stuff anymore. You
Yeah,
know,
he
he's-
does.
he's
You just
10.
don't. You're just not
He's-
there for it. He's
He's
constantly playing
10,
with stuff.
So I mean, he doesn't. You know, I mean, unless he's grounded, you know, from electronics and
When you
gaming.
go
and
from
stuff like
playing with stuff to
Playing with
incorporating
stuff.
destroying said stuff while you're playing with it. Yeah, I had that problem.
Yeah, Gordon
Yeah.
shot up all my toys with my BB gun.
I would build models just to fucking blow them up.
Shot all my Dick Tracy figures.
God, I should. I was the original fucking. I was the original Whistle and Diesel.
No, you're the
Just on
kid
a
from the
smaller
Toy
scale.
Story who destroyed all the toys.
Oh
With the
yeah, instead of
braces.
fucking expensive vehicles, it was toys.
But yeah, so that's kind of like it's like
Blaming loss on a Bluetooth mouse.
I guess the age is down to I guess whatever age they start asking for super expensive shit, really. But it's just
Well, it's like, you know, when they get to like teenager age and stuff like that, you know, you have to be able to. I heard a comedian say it best. It's like you don't want the kid at school, you know, the one kid with playing with marbles that goes, you know, this says that my dad says that this is a video game. You know, or
I like to
something
play
that.
jacks.
You know, that kid, and this is real life experience, decided to stick that marble up his nose, and then he got a bloody nose and had to go to the doctor.
I like to
Right,
play
so,
jacks.
I mean, you know, you have to
It was
keep
not
up.
me.
You have to at least keep up with the times, but in the same respect, I also try to limit him as much as possible.
I'm waiting for the
Mhm.
lash back from the younger generation to go back the other direction from technology standpoint.
It started happening a few years ago. I would drive around. I would see like 22, 23-year-old chicks like driving around crocheting shit. Like the crocheting hipster thing came around for a while. That
Yeah,
was
but
their
then they're
way.
still fucking crocheting on their phone making a TikTok video.
No, one chick was crocheting while driving with her knees down fucking Del Prado, which is the busiest, most accident-prone street in all of goddamn Southwest Florida.
Goddamn
She was
derelict
crocheting while driving with
crocheters
knees.
out there
Yeah.
causing accidents.
Trying to kill people, you sons of
Trying
bitches.
to kill people.
Did you watch Yellowstone yet?
No.
Did
Not
you?
yet.
I know you've been wanting to talk about the scene.
I
The
I
last
called
one
it.
I
That's
saw
all
was
I'm
the
saying.
Cattle drive where they came back.
I now want to see it just because of Wayne Wilson.
I called it. That's all I'm saying. I called it.
Are you saying they jumped the shark?
No, I'm saying that the particular young country artist that's going to be on that show is going to really be on
Oh,
that
I've
fucking
seen
show.
that. Yeah. I've heard his music on there. Yes.
Well, no, the latest episode. Not that I'm going to give anything away.
Maybe playing a little live music.
Maybe his band might be playing the entire set at the fair when they go to the fair. So, like,
That
not only
makes
did they
sense.
feature his song on an episode, now he's
His-
actually in an episode.
When I first heard his music, the first thing I thought was Yellowstone.
Yeah.
I think this will fit right in with Taylor Sheridan's deal. I did start watching Tulsa King.
How's that? I've been thinking about watching that.
I think it's only on Paramount Plus, or is it on Paramount?
I don't know.
It's interesting seeing
An old Sly.
an old Sly try to play a
mook.
comedic role. He's a little clumsy.
Is this like a TV version of what was that? The Whole Nine Yards.
Let me just give you the brush
that with
strokes.
Bruce
This
Willis
is shit
and-
you've seen in the ads, the trailers.
Yep.
He's a guy who went to prison for protecting the family, not saying a word, not dropping a dime, not being a snitch,
Mm-hmm.
covering. He gets back and they said there ain't nothing left here for you. He's a capo, but we will give you Tulsa. It's free range.
Yeah.
Goes to Tulsa. He strong arms a pot dealership to be under his wing. He strong arms a bar, I think, or almost, and that's kind of where we're at. It's kind of funny. He does kind of go after the woke culture with what the fuck's going on with the world today.
Mm-hmm.
Every young person, he asks that same question.
What in the hell's wrong with you, son?
You know,
God damn it. Yeah, it's kind of like Gran Turismo was 10 years ago. We
Gran
thought
Torino?
things- yeah, that show too.
Gran Turismo was a video game, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
PlayStation exclusive.
Ooh.
Yeah. I wonder if Call of Duty will be a Xbox exclusive for a while when they buy it.
Never.
I was
What would
playing that
happen? You think
tonight.
it piss off all the
There's
PS3 people?
never in a million years that they'll do that because
Well, it's taking
the
money off the
I was
sales.
going
table.
to say the amount of
Right,
money on
the
fucking
Steam.
gun packs and stupid skins.
Well, they're talking
Exactly.
about.
You're talking to a
kicking
guy
it
whose
out
daughter
to,
stole $50
Nintendo.
out of his account to buy skins for her fucking video game. Yeah.
Really?
Well, they're talking about kicking it out to
I
Nintendo.
didn't
Are they
know.
going to do that and then pull it back from PlayStation just to say fuck you?
No.
Nah.
Microsoft isn't that
Nobody's-
petty. They only believe in one thing. That's the almighty fucking dollar. They will fucking turn that game into Fortnite Lite if they think they can triple sales on it. Before too long, you'll be playing Call of Duty as a fucking guy in a furry outfit. I guarantee it. Microsoft
So, Mike,
does
you've
not
got
care.
an Xbox One X, don't you?
I certainly do.
Do you have
That
it hooked up
sounds
to 4K?
dirty.
I do.
How do you think Call of Duty looks that way?
When I first played it, now that I've gotten used to it, but when I first played it, I thought it was the mechanism of the game. I thought was really top notch.
Yes.
The
Very,
mechanism.
very, very well put together.
Would that be the battle
Um,
mechanics?
The visuals,
Yeah, the visuals and everything. The motions.
even
Um,
and Don, I'm talking about beyond the campaign, but I'm talking even multiplayer.
Yeah, even in multiplayer, which we all know is always
The bee's
It's
knees.
the bread and butter.
The cat's meow.
Well, yeah, but they always dumb it down because
Yeah, because they got to get
But
that
it
screen
wasn't
load
dumbed down
quicker.
that much.
it's such a fast action thing that they can't put that much.
Oh, I've been
visual
playing
art into it,
Shipment.
I think, but it
I've-
looks great.
I've been playing Shipment, and depending on especially if I had a little,
Well, that's
Listen,
why
man.
that's why destructible
it
environments
looks
went
more and
away.
more real. The way
Yeah.
the lighting's done and everything else.
But that's why destructible environments went away. One of the best things about Battlefield was the fact that you could
That's
blow
what
a
I
whole
miss.
fucking building down. But it
Now it's
required
sort
so
of
much
destructible
video
environments.
memory that they had to dumb down the graphics.
But I tell you, that
Well-
drill charge works really well on a Connex when some
Well-
dude's inside.
What's interesting is my dad is 62, I think. I was playing it out in the living room, and I was just sitting there, and he sat down, he was watching. I was playing through the campaign, and he was like, "Are you watching a movie?"
Yeah.
And it's
Pretty
that
much.
it's that point where you go, "Wow, look how far we've come."
Yeah, this is now a
From-
choose your own adventure movie.
Thanks.
Right, from fucking like Mario or Metroid or something like that up to this now.
2 squares and a dot.
Well, on Thanksgiving, Dad and I were standing in Carrie's Carrie's brother's father-in-law's house, and the football game was
Holy
on.
fuck, what's that?
The football game was on, and they all have the rings around their feet now and shit. Whenever they should, and I told Dad, I said,
Looks like John Madden.
I said, all that graphics comes from John Madden. I said, you look like, and when I walked into her brother's room, they were playing the modern version of John Madden on the PS5. I told Dad, I said, come here, look at this. I said, that looks just like the shit going on out in the living room. And it's amazing. I mean, there's still a little bit in the facial features, but from a distance, like when they're showing him running downfield, like, damn.
was he pretty? Was he pretty amazing?
Yeah, we both sat there and just watched him play for like 30 minutes. It's more exciting than with the shit that was on the TV.
All right.
I think
Now
they
that-
say if you delete all the film footage of a football game, like if you recorded it, cut it from play to play, I think the entire game's 45 minutes long. The rest of it's just whistle blowing, fucking calling and all
That's
that
all
shit.
bullshit. Yeah.
That's why I can't stand football.
Take a
That's why I
fucking
prefer
30-minute game
hockey.
and stretch it out to
But
fucking
even the
3
problem
hours.
is, even with hockey these days, and even though I prefer it, is sometimes they get a little dramatic, like the soccer players.
Well, it's the generation. I mean, they're a victim of their product. Now it's the younger generations. They didn't play the rough and tumble. You know, buy anything that my old ass would play nowadays, it's rough and tumble. But compared to some of the shit the hardcore guys were playing back in the day,
Smear the Queer and Slaughterball.
But yeah,
can you play Smear the Queer anymore?
I think it's called a guy with tackle the guy with the ball. Is I think what it's called nowadays. One last complaint on kids before we get to the news. I'm already losing my voice. So kids like to be contrarians, right?
Kids.
Every one of them. We were that way too.
So Carrie sent me off to the Publix on a mission for school.
No shit.
Now, parents, tomorrow's half day here in Lee County. You elementary school parents who pick up your kids in the parent pickup line 2 hours after you drop them off because the line's so goddamn long and traffic's so congested in this town because, well, Cape Coral. When you go back and you sit in that parent pickup line for 2 hours in your kindergarten, your first grade, or your second grade, or if the fourth grade, they walk outside with that big ass whatever project that the poor put upon teacher had to figure out what to do this year. Whether it's a homemade ornament that looks like some half-ass snowman from some cartoon that came out 20 years ago,
Make a Wish.com ornament.
or it's a sock puppet, or a little wooden gingerbread men that some teacher's husband had to spend 4 hours after work cleaning up on his bandsaw in his garage after he worked all day. Before you just take that stuff home and throw it in the trash, just keep in mind that the fucking poor teacher paid like $380 for that material for your kid can have a day with cookies and projects. So I had to go to the store to get M&Ms and popcorn. But not
I
just
always thought those were a teacher phones it in day.
not just any old M&Ms. It had to be green and blue because, well, Christmas and shit. And I get the sign.
Wait. What colors again for Christmas?
That'd be green and red.
Green
sir.
and red.
All right.
Green and blue for colorblind. And so we go.
Or he has a learning disability. So.
That too. I'm literally dumb. So we went and got 3 boxes of popcorn because, well, 24 kids
Liminally literate.
and whatnot. And then you always got to have that one teacher down the hall that's never remembers to buy shit, so she comes steals your extras.
Oh, I guess that teacher does exist, don't they?
Yeah, because, well, that person exists, and in every industry, that person has a job, so that means that teacher exists too.
Maybe more so there than people realize.
So I found the popcorn that we needed, but I was on a mission to find the red and green holiday M&Ms. Red and green only, because it's Grinch Day. He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I had to buy a pack and fucking dig all the other.
But they didn't have the
M&Ms out there.
bags of the green and red M&Ms. But they did have the candy cane tubes, which were about 3 ounces. And they had 2 of them. Then they had a bunch of the smaller ones at 1.8 ounces. I was trying, well, how many of these would make up one big bag of M&Ms? And I called her and I said, hey, found the popcorn, but I don't have the M&Ms you're looking for unless you want to get these tube cones. And she said, don't worry about it. At which point my daughter says, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, my God. I said, we got to find green and red M&Ms to put in the popcorn for the kids. Ew. Who puts M&Ms in their popcorn?
Stoners.
And as we're
And kids.
walking, because we've done given up on finding the M&Ms, and we're walking around the oblong island of a display that has about 4 shelves, about 4 feet off the ground. As we transition the island, to my right is an entire fucking wall. An entire fucking wall of brand new pre-packaged popcorn with M&Ms built right fucking in. She saw this display, in which I looked at her, and I just started cackling. And got louder and louder until it reverberated off the steel roof of Publix, and I embarrassed her. Because she, who knows fucking everything, said that no one wants fucking M&Ms in their popcorn, yet the fine people at Mars realized enough people want it that they prepackaged it and sold it at fucking Publix. And I just laughed. Said, see?
You know how delightful salty popcorn is with sweet chocolate?
How delightful is it when the universe just comes and shuts up a contrarian? No one likes this? Well, here's a whole fucking display of it. I didn't say no.
I guess nobody likes it.
I just cackled wildly until I embarrassed her, and that was just so worth it. Brother.
Did you tell her the time of old when you used to get that gift from your aunt or uncle that was the tin of Christmas popcorn?
Yeah, because she got it last year. We buy it every year. I like the caramels.
That's right.
I just had a thought and I lost it because what we were talking about. Yeah. Oh, M&M's and popcorn.
You're like Robert Downey and Iron Man. Just hold your hands up. Instead of explosions in the background, it's M&M's and popcorn.
I had a follow-up thought, but I lost it. Damn it. It went away. Must not be that
You'll
important.
remember it at the least convenient time.
Halfway through the intro of your news, I'm sure, which I still don't have loaded. So
That's fine. It's kind of a cheesy intro.
As per everything on this fucking show, do you listen to this shit? It's all cheesy. Anyhow, Gordon, join us live from the news desk in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's Gordon Abernathy. Gordon, how you doing tonight?
That's the part.
That's it, baby.
The part right there. I was doing good until you asked me for the second time tonight how the fuck I'm doing.
Well, you've been stuck
don't
with
have
me for
dementia
50
yet,
minutes.
so,
Maybe your mood has changed since 50 minutes ago.
Well, it has now.
Exactly. So how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Gordon.
Yeah.
How you doing tonight?
Go screw. I don't know if this is the sign of the times or.
Do you like these highfalutin cork removers, or are you old school with the twisty things?
Who you talking to?
Whoever's listening.
I don't drink wine.
I would just assume use whatever works.
I don't drink wine. I have scotch.
Scotch.
So I don't know if this is a sign of the times or the fact that adults are still children.
The latter.
But coming in from New York in the AP, since the pandemic, Elizabeth, I'm not going to pronounce her last name, has turned to toys from her childhood to relieve stress. If that was the case, I'd be stuck buying them a bunch of fucking Dick Tracy characters for way too much money. She and her coworkers chipped in to buy Legos at Target so that they could play them at their desk.
That to remortgage their fucking house to get those? Jesus Christ, Lego.
Well,
we get a licensing agreement.
She may make six figures so she can afford a Lego set. She also started with playing with Silly Putty again. But if there's no more newspapers, how good is Silly Putty? Noting that she felt comfort by the bouncy rubbery stuff that changes colors. Wait, did Silly Putty change colors?
The cheap shit. It was all like eraser pink.
Or is that some new shit that was past my time?
Probably new shit.
Yeah, I remember Silly Putty being pink and
it was like eraser
came with a
pink.
red egg.
Yeah, and
you
put it
can
on the funny papers and it would copy
the
it.
print.
Yep.
And he said,
Even
wow,
her
look at that.
American Girl doll called Samantha, which she keeps in her china cabinet, resonates more of these days. She waited 1 year for her mother to buy her that doll when she was a child.
Fucking
Back in the
expensive.
90s, it was a Cabbage Patch for the girls. And now she says it simply reminds her of being patient. This will probably be with me forever. I have always need something to be tinkering with, and that's probably the safest bet for me to stick to with a toy versus trying to figure out how to fix cars or something like that, according to the 37-year-old New Jersey resident. I actually find it a little disturbing that we are crawling back into our childhood to be comfortable. That's
Well, you knew we were screwed when 5 years ago you can go to Target and get 6'5" tall legged footy pajamas. I'm 23 and I need some footy pajamas.
Well, what's interesting is long before the pandemic, many adults turned to the toys from Lego to collectible items to tap into their inner childhood for comfort. This is making me uncomfortable. But all the stress from the health crisis accelerated and solidified the trend, according to Jim Silver, who is the editor-in-chief of TTPM, which is a toy review site. So even as the pandemic's threat ebbs, the makers of Mattel's American Girl to Build-A-Bear workshops are seeing adults' interest in playing with these long-lasting and creating new products.
As long as it ain't a Mon-Chi-Chi, I don't give a fuck.
You should find a different toy. Service and websites aim for other older groups. This so-called kid-adult market is significant. Ages 18 and older represent 14% of U.S. toy sale industry, which equals about 5.7 billion with a B. So even Dr. Evil would be way the fuck off. For a 12 months ending September 2022. It grew 19% since the 12 months ending in September 2021, according to the NDP Group. Market research firm, which this group says also enjoys the second fastest increase after customers from the ages of 12 to 17. So that being said, the fastest age range for toy buying is 12 to 17. After that, it's 18 and up. Starting this year, Mattel's American Girl added more adult fare like beet and goat cheese salads, because who doesn't like that as an adult? And cocktails like Absol Spritzers and Bloody Marys after seeing adults show up without children. Last year, the Build-A-Bear launched a website called Bear Cave.
Isn't that weird?
That sounds
When you
kinda
showed up
gay.
at Build-A-Bear or Disney without a child, you shouldn't be
For
allowed
18-year-old and over. Well, apparently we think it's weird, but 14, whatever percent, no.
That'll wake Mike
What's
up.
interesting is even Basic Fun took high-tech spins like the traditional Light-Bright toy from the 60s and recreated as a wall with thousands of pegs.
I was gonna say
45 LED lights.
Yep.
With a price tag of $99. So I don't want to read into this anymore because it's just sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fucked. We're turning into children.
Yes.
Next
You said I
coming
wanna
out
be a
of
cicada.
Marathon, Florida. Where's Marathon for those of us who do
That's
not know?
northish. No, that's southish, ain't it? Mike.
What? I wasn't listening.
Marathon Key. Where's Marathon Key?
Fantastic.
Marathon Key?
Yeah, that's
Marathon, Florida.
yes.
Marathon, Florida.
Yes.
Isn't that on the other coast?
I don't know.
Nope,
That's
it
what I'm
is Florida
asking you.
Keys.
So it is south of us.
Oh, yeah. In the Keys.
That's why I
right.
said Marathon Key.
Isla Morada,
Well-
and then I think Marathon. Or
Yes.
Marathon, and then I think Isla Morada.
This is in the Christmas spirit of the Grinch. Several motorists who are speeding through an elementary school zone in the Florida Keys overseas highway received an odorous onion.
That's
as a
any
reminder
store you
to
go
slow
into
down
now.
from a
These
county sheriff's deputy dressed as the Grinch. Colonel Lou Capto, a 37-year-old veteran of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, who conjured up the concept more than 20 years ago, this shit's been going on, was back on the street Tuesday.
he post bail, did he?
No, I gotta go to the next page. Drivers who traveled about 5 miles an hour or less above the school zone speed limit can choose between traffic citation. Jesus, they're dinging you at a mile an hour. And an onion presented by the Grinch. So if you got busted going through school zone for 5 miles an hour or less over, you want the stinky ass onion or you want a ticket? What are you taking?
I would end up with a ticket because I'm the guy who's bitching that their cute little stunts wasting my time. I'm running late for fucking work. And I'm driving 4 miles an hour over the speed limit because I know no one
On
in the right
Wake
fucking
News.
mind would pull me over for doing anything less than 6 miles an hour over the speed limit. Same reason why I set my fucking cruise control to 83. Oh, you can pull me up for doing 12 miles
At
over?
6 o'clock on Week News, TikTok star wannabe and podcast host. Yeah. Anyway,
Star wannabe.
hey, I'm trying to add some fucking humor to this. I'm sorry if there's some collateral damage.
all right.
Anyway, it's about education awareness in our school zones and are still operating even though it's a holiday season, according to Caputo. I think I said it right that time. And we want
Caputo. That's the
people
guy
to
from Orange is the New
slow
Black.
down. Caputo said that he portrays a fictional character created by, I'm not even going to say it's Dr. Seuss, to give the motorist a gift, but also call attention to in a nice way to the need to obey the speed limit in school zones. He says it catches them off guard, but I want to give them a clear choice between a citation or an onion. They will take the onion every time. And I have them eat the onion right in front of me. There's the kicker.
On my head.
Don would bitch about it, eat the onion, and still get the citation.
And spit in his face. What?
What's that?
So then spit it in his face. What? But we need
Week
more of that in
News
this
at
world.
6.
Man arrested for accosting police officer with onion.
And one final story this evening.
Mm-hmm.
This may go right into Don's wheelhouse.
I'm not a
Berlin, AP.
Uh-huh.
A German court on Tuesday convicted a 97, let me try that again because I fucked it up. A 97-year-old woman of being an accessory to more than 10,000
Good.
murders
Fuck that bitch.
for her role as secretary to the SS commander of the Nazis' Stutthof concentration camp in World War II. Correct my language on that pronunciation. Stutthof, Stutthof. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. I've
Fast
got
and
to
hard.
channel
Say it
my
fast
inner
and hard.
crowd. Hermigerd Birchner.
Hermigerd.
Hermigerd Birchner. Oh, no. No, it is Hermigerd.
Hermigerd.
Birchner was accused of being part of the apparatus that helped the camp near Danzig. Hey, by the way, I loved his fucking music. Now, the Polish city of Gdansk function. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm fucking this one up. The Izaho. It's a hoe.
Just replace it with the place outside of the town.
State court in northern Germany.
The place outside of the hamlet.
Suspended. No wonder they're freaks in porn. Gave her a 2-year suspended sentence for being an accessory to murder in 10,505 cases and an accessory to attempted murder in 5.
They gave her what?
A 2-year suspension. She's 97.
So there's no statute of limitations on genocide.
A 2-year.
You can't say I was young
she's going
and
to
silly.
become a burden on the prison. A 2-year
Fucking hanger.
sentence
Get a rope
for
for
being
$5 at fucking Lowe's.
Accessory to murder of 10,505 cases, and accessory to attempted murder in 5.
And she got off scot clean. She got to live till 90. Got brought up on charges and shuffled down in the shuffleball court with a fucking brat and some sauerkraut.
Canasta.
Saying
whatever
she's
the German equivalent
old.
of canasta is.
You wouldn't have to buy a rope. You can just kick her down a flight of stairs.
Oops. Hey, drop that soap and go to pick it
My
up.
God.
She was a Nazi.
Well, she was a Nazi, but was she a Nazi by choice or was she a Nazi by duress?
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too. If you're in a
We
country
can't go
and
cutting
shit
and
goes
breaks
south
just
and
because
it's
she's
either your life
99.
or their life, what are you going to choose?
A lot of people chose fuck you and died.
Yeah, and they're better people. I'm just saying I'm playing the devil's advocate.
Be the
saying
guy
I
in the
did what
photo,
you
not doing the thing with the
did.
hand.
Speaking of which, you're not allowed to play the devil's advocate anymore, are you? Well, you're playing the devil's advocate. You must think that way. No. It's called being open-minded to other people's situations. But anywho.
He just said
And court judges were
downstairs.
convinced that Furchner knew, and through her work as a stenographer in the commandant's office of the Stutthof concentration camp, God, I hate German sometimes, from June 1, 1943 to April 1 of 1945, deliberately supported the fact
Okay, fine.
that
We'll just defenestrate her.
10,505 prisoners were cruelly killed by gassing.
You hear me, Gordon? We'll
Huh?
just defenestrate her.
You saying she needs to be defenestrated?
Yeah, instead of push down the stairs, we'll just defenestrate her.
Throw her through a window?
Sure. She's
It's awful
98.
fucking grand, isn't it?
Could be the first floor.
Now you got to fix the
effect
window.
would be the
That's,
same.
that's more expensive.
It's not different than that.
Haven't
scene
you
in
looked at the
Dead-
cost of inflation these days? That window may take 6 months to replace.
They
That's
make
no
the
different-
fucking window in country. It's not they got to import it from the United States. We don't make shit.
That's no different.
No,
than
they
that
got
scene
to
in
fucking
Deadpool.
import it from fucking Ukraine. They're in war. Oh, wait. There's no electronics in that.
It's all sand and fire, sir.
No.
What were you saying, Mike?
That's no different than that scene in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to the Deadpool with Logan? With I'm sorry,
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Have you not
They
seen
they addressed the whole
Yes.
Logan thing in the
They
trailer.
did specify it was going to screw up the timeline, but
Correct.
Well, since when did that's the whole reason comics have
Well, the thing
multiverses,
is
so they
is
can
that,
fuck with the timeline and get away with it.
The Deadpool character has been very critical of that stuff, so he's got to make sure he covers it up front. Anywho,
yeah,
needless
I'm
to
excited
say,
for it.
this old ass Fräulein.
By the way, if you don't think that the character from Two Guys Who Grow in a Pizza Parlor, Van Wilde, and freaking Deadpool are not the same character, you're playing yourself. As we were.
Who thinks that?
Because it's all the same character.
Oh yeah, he's one dude.
Yep.
He plays himself,
True that.
and he's fucking brilliant at it.
And he owns Mint Mobile.
and
Other things.
Aviator Jen.
And other things. But yeah.
Don's jealous. I'm going to do the quick, actually one more quick thing, and I'm going to try to skip through it, but U.S. has decided to fly bomber stealth jets as Kim's sister threatens.
Yeah, she seems to be the fucking real bitch.
Well, because I think Kim Jong is showing
He ain't got no balls.
a little lack of nuts, and she says, I've got them all.
Yep.
The United States flew nuclear-capable bombers and advanced stealth jets, which I hear has been grounded because there was a fire on one, in a show of force against North Korea on Tuesday. Apparently, they weren't grounded because they were flying.
Or were they?
I was given
no one
bad
knows.
news
They're
by a
stealth.
fucking associate in my business recently. As the powerful sister of North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un,
Well done.
just call him Fat Boy. We could call him the North Korean Pillsbury Doughboy. That'll work.
Family for dinner.
Derided doubts, come after me. Derided doubts about her country's military and threatened full-range intercontinental ballistic missile test. I'm going to get you with a test. And it'll fall into the Sea of Japan and whatever. Just like all the other ones.
Well, it's either sanctions or tests,
The
and we've already
drills,
put
which also
sanctions.
included
They didn't do shit.
F-35s and F-15s from South Korea, took place in the waters of southwest of Jeju Island. The ministry said the U.S. F-22 jets, which everybody's afraid of, was deployed in the South Korea for the first time in 4 years and will stay throughout the week of training. Isn't this a yearly deal?
Think so.
Okay, so that's it. Yeah,
It's
we're
it.
doing our
It's the
yearly
annual
exercises. We're rattling
rattling
their
of the
cages.
saber.
They're threatening to throw rockets, and we're back to fucking normal.
Yeah.
Now we have problems with China.
Outstanding.
China attacks
Outstanding.
Taiwan. I think will be a whole different story.
Yeah,
but
China, Iran, Russia, certain
waiting for that
nations in
Franz Ferdinand
Africa are
moment.
kind of
When
creating their
will
own
it be?
currency, and yeah, that's a great move. But anywho, so
Anyhow.
you guys got any big plans for the holiday coming up?
Playing video games. Speaking of which, Mike, we need to hit each other up over the
Family
holiday
shit.
weekend.
Oh, family shit.
For show.
Faux
Don's
show.
into the DMZ. Well, we've been into DMZ lately.
Yeah, DMZ on Call of Duty. I played some multiplayer tonight.
Haven't tried raids yet.
I got first place a few times, but yep. But hey, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the What's in Your Head podcast. Thank you guys so much for another year supporting us. We will be back next year, bigger, better, and happier. And we're going to give the full court press. That's it. Anywho.
He's had way too much wine.
Hey, man, 19 Crimes where it's at. I started out with the Snoop Dizzle, and now I'm on to the Uprising.
So hold on. Can we back up
Mm-hmm.
before you sign us completely off and tell 2022 to go fuck itself the rest of the year?
Yeah, please.
What got you into the wine? I know there was a reason before, but now you still keep staying on the vino train.
He's a wine.
I like he's some middle-aged white chick.
$9.99 a bottle. One of these will get you as drunk.
It's either he's a
as
middle-aged white
hitting
chick
a
or he's on his way to
$35
becoming
bottle
fucking
of booze.
homeless.
And they sell it at Publix, so it doesn't require a special trip to acquire.
What do you
Unlike
mean,
my
you can't just buy your liquor at any store out there?
no, like if I want a bottle of freaking my Larceny, I got to go to the liquor store for that. I can't get that at Publix.
You know what I'm going to say to you? I live in America. I can buy this shit at the store.
Once I buy it at the liquor store.
No,
The
no,
Publix-
no. I can go down to
Publix
fucking
has a liquor store. It's
Kroger's.
not
I
mine.
could go down to
was gonna ask,
Vons. I could go down to Albertsons.
Yeah, you can go like
buy
in Kentucky and just go to
whatever liquor I
Walgreens
want.
and buy Jack
Wait, did you
Daniels.
say Albertsons?
Albertsons, yeah.
That's
which is
still
about to be bought
exists?
by it's the second largest grocery store.
No,
chain
all
in
of
the
our
country.
Albertsons went under, and then Publix bought up all their buildings down here.
Kroger's about to buy
Really?
Albertsons, which Albertsons actually owns Vons and Safeway too. So
Yeah. We have a Winn-Dixie.
yay, that's your way to getting around. Yeah, but see, you're all being gouged by Publix.
True that.
This has been a Digital 410 production.